The Lego Movie 2 is the video game equivalent of grocery store sushi. It's not ideal or even made well, but it somehow manages to hit the spot anyway. This is mostly due to the ability of Lego games to engage the collector in all of us. Throughout the long, exhaustive library of games in the overarching franchise, the primary goal has always been to collect characters, bits, bricks, items, and more. And if that's what you're seeking, you're gonna get it in spades. The Lego Movie 2 has adopted some new ways of doling out these collectible characters and items through in-game loot boxes called relics, but even they're collected in treasure chests lying about the levels, thankfully avoiding any microtransactions. Even better, any duplicate items are turned to shards to help you purchase more boxes. While I don't think randomized loot is a particularly fun mechanic, I still appreciate that I never felt like I was being taken advantage of by the system. Essentially everything in the game can be summed up as, go here, collect these, build this, collect more. It should be downright infuriatingly monotonous, but it somehow manages to just feel gamey in an enjoyable way. One of the ways the game avoids that monotony and frustration is through consistently offering new and inventive ways to challenge the mind. I enjoyed looking at a quick roadblock in my progress and thinking about my options. Even when it was blatantly obvious, working it out and subsequently watching the outcome of my choices was always a treat. While it's clearly aimed at a younger crowd, I'd be lying if I said there weren't a few scattered moments when trying to figure out what I needed to build to beat a boss or overcome a short puzzle took me a minute or two. This was often enjoyable, but sometimes what I needed to interact with would be so ambiguous that it actually felt like a shortcoming on behalf of the game, rather than my own mental acuity. One moment, the game holds your hand to a maddening degree, and then the next, you're expected to know exactly what to build at some random, unremarkable location during an active boss battle. The combat stands out as one of the Lego Movie 2's worst features. As a matter of fact, in a title that handles exploration, collecting, and basic puzzle solving quite well, the infrequent addition of combat feels wholly unnecessary. It's slow, stiff, and awkward to pull off at times, and the most irritating moments in my time with the game came from trying to simply break open random things around the levels, or hit enemies as the horrible hit detection caused me to whiff right through them. Additionally, I'm shocked that a game that's so graphically unaesthetic manages to run so poorly. Screen tearing is abundant during both gameplay and cutscenes. The draw distance is abysmal, and the frame rate never stabilizes. The camera can swing around randomly, from sluggishly player-controlled to awkward fixed positioning, making these other optimization failures even more glaring. I battled with the camera and slowdown during the moderately tense sections far more than I ever did with any actual challenge. Despite these shortcomings, however, the Lego Movie 2 is a game that never stops offering ways to discover new things. When I wasn't battling with the camera, I found myself searching through the store to buy new items and characters to mess around with. The vast ensemble of playable characters never disappoints, and being able to customize them to create your own mix-matched player is an endless joy. That said, I sometimes wish that the game hadn't separated characters from items. Doing so means that characters are cosmetic only, stealing away the unique and exciting feeling of unlocking someone new and getting to see their special abilities or combat options. Because of this, I designed a character I liked early on, and rarely found any reason for swapping him out as I continued through the game, choosing to simply swap the items out on him instead. It gets the job done, but it certainly steals away one of the franchise's most fun features, and puts a bit of a dampener on the experience of unlocking cool new characters. While the character and item system is both exciting and disappointing in different ways, one of the more intriguing features of the game is a planet that sees you building a town of your own. Collecting new blueprints and items to build there throughout the journey gives the game an additional sense of purpose. Since you're allowed to build the buildings more or less where you'd like, it's unlikely for any two people to have the same town. In this sense, the Lego Movie 2 does exactly what Legos were designed to do: allow for creativity. The remainder of the game is basically planets filled with pseudo-open world designs full of side quests and busy work. While there's nothing overtly displeasing about the game's planet designs, and levels like a giant asteroid are actually pretty interesting, there's a relative lack of actual content in the more open-ended ones. Side quests begin to feel repetitive after a few hours, and even the game's core gameplay loop of collecting can begin to slowly grow dull when scouring bland, uninspired open areas. was. But while I'd have preferred more linearity on some of the planets, tracking down the many extra and hidden items and bricks was nevertheless moderately fun, even when I had to travel across barren places to get them. If movement wasn't so inherently slow and clunky to begin with, perhaps this wouldn't have been such a damning problem for the game. As it stands, building vehicles in such segments is a must, and at least some of them are fairly fun to use. Sadly, there's not much to the LEGO Movie 2 that stands out as original. The core mechanics are mostly sound, but the rehashed movie story is told in a disjointed, unappealing fashion, and most of the things the game does well were done even better in previous games in the series. And that about does it for this video. If you enjoyed what you watched and want to see more from Gaming Bolt, please hit the subscribe button. Also, don't forget to switch on the notifications bell icon next to it. That way you'll never miss any of our videos. Thanks for watching.